40 children could be working, pin drop silence and inner discipline is prevailed in the classroom. How does that happen? Let's see what Mrs. Mehr has to tell us about Montessori and the discipline in the prepared environment for effective classroom management. Can we all welcome her warmly, Mrs. Mehr.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, my topic today is about the effective classroom management. And in that we have freedom and discipline. How to maintain the freedom and discipline. See, freedom is something when the child is allowed to go to any extent. But freedom should also be within limits. So when you visit the Montessori environment, it is a large environment with 30 to 40 children and each one is doing what they want. But if we allow just unlimited freedom, then the child may end up with wild behavior, they might fight, they might disturb the things. And too much control on the other hand, that will subdue the child. Child will go into a shell, he will not want to do anything. So there has to be a balance where the child will be able to make his own choices, he will be able to work, and he will work in a disciplined way. When we are talking about discipline, discipline for adults and children is different. If a teacher asks a group of adult students for order and discipline, it will come with an immediate response, but it will be short-lived. On the other hand, if you are dealing with children, they will take time to develop their discipline. It is something which comes internally, it comes slowly, and it comes with the child's own effort. Child goes through a series of activities and a process of normalization, and once this is achieved, then the child is able to gain discipline. It is the self-discipline which is enforced and it will be implemented as an external feeling, where it will be implemented. But if there is no inner discipline, then the child will not be able to show the external discipline also. So various studies have confirmed that in the Montessori system, although there is a large number of children, but still it is a well-managed environment. The true Montessori environment is a well-managed environment. The children will always show discipline. They will work in their own orderly way. In the same environment, we will see children working with EPL, sensorial, language, maths. They are doing different activities and each one is busy in his work, but in a very quiet way. The children are moving about softly. They are not pulling or pushing the things. They are handling the things carefully. And the response is that they obey the elder. Whatever instruction is given, they obey quietly. So in different books, especially in Discovery of the Child, Mario Montessori gives various examples of the little children who were working in the children's houses. And the main point she emphasizes that allow the child freedom where they can choose their own work. Once the child is allowed to choose the work, then give a proper presentation and child should be allowed to work with that for as long as the child wants to do and is fully satisfied. While working with this, the child gets confidence. The child starts developing his confidence when he is working with these exercises. If you are also allowed to do something of your choice, you enjoy doing it more, you do it in a better way. But if you are forced to do something, it has just to be done as a duty. But for the discipline and for the maintenance of that inner response, child works by choice and repeating as many times as he wants to do. While the child is doing this, he is developing his self-discipline. And discipline can never be obtained only by commands and by sermons. Dr. Mario Montessori says that it is an illusion if you feel that it will come only by teaching and preaching. No, it has to be done through the work of the child, where the child will be able to develop his confidence. In that confidence, you will see the glimmering of discipline. Once the child is involved in activity where the children sit quietly, they have full control on the body movements, and the directress calls out their name. As the directress moves away and calls out the name slowly and softly, and Maria Montessori says in a toneless voice, not harshly, not with too much affection, but in a simple way, and the children are all alert. They are very conscious for waiting for their turn, that now my turn will come and I have to go to my teacher. So when the name is called out, they move up, they get up slowly and move very, very quietly. This is also a training of self-discipline. They move up, they move quietly without touching anything, and even the feet are very soft on the ground. No thumping of the feet. Children will move out slowly and move to the directress. And then it is the duty of the directress to maintain that inner discipline and help in the creation, because if we will not help the child in developing that inner discipline, we will not be able to maintain a proper environment. The child has to develop his own series of actions. And if we want to apply the Montessori method completely, then child should be allowed to work by his own choice. If the child is working by his own choice, he is developing concentration, normalization, and the first step of discipline. Discipline comes through an indirect route. It is not a direct thing that we order discipline and that it will happen. It comes through activity. Every individual wants to improve himself and has the ability to control himself. Even the little child has an inner ability through which he can control his movements, he can become calm, he can become silent, and the child works with no external aid. Child does not want to please anybody, child does not want to show his work to anybody. Child will go on doing his activity, repeating many times until he himself is satisfied. Or as Maria Montessori says, the inner flame on which life depends is fully satisfied. There is an inner urge in every person to do the best. The child is also striving to achieve perfection in his activities and to develop the inner discipline. But work does not mean that child can do anything. Work cannot be given at random. We have to offer the activities according to the need of the child, according to the age of the child, which will make his interests alive. And his innermost soul will also be interested in that work. So the child is depending on the directress to provide a group of activities which are suitable for him, and through that the directress achieves the discipline of it. While the child is working, he gains control over his motor activities, and motor activities also help to develop the intellectual level. Maria Montessori says that if a directress tells a child that children and every human being is not perfect, they have their own drawbacks. So pointing out directly is not good. We will, through an activity, through a role play, make a similar situation where the child will realize that yes, this is the fault, this is the good child, this is the bad child. I have to associate myself with a good child like this. Our next point is talk about any situation. If children are fighting or there is any disturbance, do not point out or hold on to that particular child. But in your group lesson, as a group activity, talk about that situation indirectly. Make the children aware of the positive and the negative sides of every situation. Only then they will be able to be in a good response to the discipline. Another important thing which the teacher has to do is to teach the children to listen to opposing point of view. Everybody does not agree. There are different points of view. So encourage the child, because even little children have their own point of view. They want to do things their way. One might say apple is red, another might say no, I ate a yellow apple yesterday. So allow them, encourage them to accept the other's point of view. Also, you will create such situations in the class that children will be able to accept each other's point of view. Sometimes the children are getting very restless. So get ideas from the children. If we can ask the child, what do you want to do? It is not every time that you will follow what the children are saying, but you get ideas, you get basic knowledge of the interests and the likes and the dislikes of the group with which you are dealing. So we have to develop a close understanding with the child once that basic normalization is achieved. Because in the true Montessori environment, there is the mixed age group. The children of the older age usually help the younger ones with the activities, and it has been seen that sometimes they are so caring about the younger ones. They will go out to help the young child in any possible way. So do not stop that. Encourage the love and understanding among the children. These are the basic points which will help the directors to maintain the order and discipline in the environment. But there are no fixed rules for that. It depends on the situation. As no two human beings are same, no two children in the environment will be the same. Situations vary from day to day, from child to child, from person to person. And the directress has to take action according to the situation at that moment and help each child in his progress through the inner discipline, which will be reflected in the work and in the environment.
Whenever we have topics similar to what is speaking about discipline and all that, her face, her image comes. Because I always say she's really soft-spoken, and I'm sure once she's working in the classroom, her classroom must be really a disciplined class. And so is we are having a very disciplined audience as well. Okay, a lot has been said, and a lot can be said.